Why do we doubt ourselves? Why do we believe we cannot accomplish our goals or our dreams? There are many reasons as to why, but the one that most people can relate to is mental illness. Many people across the world suffer from mental illness, and very few people win the battle with it. There are a variety of mental illnesses, and here are just a few people who suffer from different cases of it.
Well, Asperger's basically it it makes people slow. Basically, they can't think as fast enough. And another issue with Asperger's is that oftentimes people will be too focused on a particular subject, like trains or blocks, for instance, or anything else really. Even though Asperger's is now part of the autistic umbrella. Asperger's does affect my life in general. Um, it affects my social skills, which is my major disadvantage to life. I've been going to therapy for many years, and over the years I've progressed quite well. I've been a little bit more social, and my verbal communication has improved quite drastically. Originally, I did not think that there was anything wrong with me. Neither did my parents, nor did anyone really. It wasn't until later in life that things started to become clearer, that I wasn't testing very well. I would say to the person watching this who has Asperger's or any form of autism for that matter, is just to don't let people drag you down. If they say something, just ignore them and just keep on going. Do the best you can. Even if you don't do well, still try.
I first started to realize something was wrong about fourth grade because I started not being able to sleep, and I was being really, I would stay up till 3 a.m. the night before just worrying about school and worrying about everything that was happening. And I thought it was just kind of normal at the time, and then as I got older I started realizing it was constantly fidgeting with my hands, I was constantly stuttering, I was constantly just overwhelmed with the sense of everything that I was doing was not right, and I was constantly just overwhelmed with ideas that something needed to be different. When I was younger, it was dependent on the day, and as I've gotten older, it's increased to where it's affected my daily life a lot. Something as simple as maybe a test, I could spend 2 weeks up to that test just thinking just about that test, and when you have things that keep piling up, and that on top of maybe I said something to a friend just 3 seconds ago and I immediately regret it and think that, oh no, I shouldn't have said that, now they absolutely hate me. Went recently actually to a doctor and talked about what I was feeling and talked about how everything was affecting me, and I was prescribed a medication for it. It's Lexapro, a natural medication. It helps to reactivate the brain and help the brain to balance itself out, whereas something like Xanax sort of creates an artificial health. When you're sad or bummed out, it's kind of the same where the feeling will eventually go away. Something good will happen and you will maybe not forget about it, but it'll kind of go out of your mind for a little while. Where with depression, it just sort of stays there and it sits there like tar, and it just sort of consumes you and weighs you down, and you don't want to get up or do anything, and things pile up. It lasts for anywhere between just a few days to it can last months. You start neglecting your eating habits, you start neglecting your everyday chores and just your overall health. And it can pile and pile and pile, whereas sadness, eventually you get better. And I felt like anything I did just wasn't going to work out, and I just drew away and wanted to isolate myself. It's an everyday occurrence, I would say. It has its highs and lows, but it does stick around for days at a time when it does come, and it can affect my daily life severely. I cannot want to talk, I cannot want to do any of my work, I can get behind in grades. Even over this past week and over the past few days, I've been wanting to draw away from everyone, even when I know I shouldn't. I know I should stick around people and that people can help me, I just have this feeling of I don't really belong with these people, and these people would be better off if I weren't there. Just sort of there, and when you're just there, that's just how you feel. It causes your head to go all over the place, because while depression is telling you, like, to just lay there, not to do anything, just nothing needs to be done. Anxiety is like telling you, no, if you don't do this now, something really bad is going to happen. So they're constantly fighting, and that alarm going off in your head with just the lack of will to do anything can drive you insane and just make you feel like you want it to stop. And if you feel like you have no other way to stop it, and you feel like suicide is the only answer, then that's what you will do. I would say try to hang on, and as hard as that can seem, just find the small things to look for, whether it be you need to feed your cat tomorrow, or you need to feed your dog tomorrow. Just keep in mind something small to look forward to. Maybe you have something to do tomorrow that you are looking forward to. Maybe you have something to do a year from now that you're looking forward to, and you're like, I just want to make it to that, and keep searching for those small things.
What I did from what derealization is that it's kind of like if you have your physical body and you are kind of separated from that. It seems like you're watching yourself from like a perspective of like a video game or from like reality TV or something like that. It just doesn't, like, nothing really feels real. You can like feel the feel your fingertips, or like feel like the ground under your feet, but like none of it really it doesn't click that you're in reality. I first realized by a YouTuber named Dodie, and she was very open about her, like, what she goes through every now and then. And she posted something about it on Instagram, and she, like, described how she felt. And I was like, whoa, I feel that way too. That's really weird, because I thought that it was a normal thing for people to feel all, like, spaced out all the time and kind of just separated and very out of touch with the earth. It does really affect me in my daily life. In school, it is almost impossible for me to pay attention sometimes if the teacher is giving like a lecture, or like we're just going over something and like a PowerPoint. Then I'll start spacing out worse than usual, and at one point I will come back and it feels like years have passed. And it's only been maybe like 5 minutes, but I've gone through like 5,000 different situations or scenarios or stories in my head. It is super weird, but yes, it does affect me a ton. And I've been feeling this way forever since I started school. So I didn't think that it was something weird or odd, or like not many people feel this. I felt like it was just a normal thing, because you don't really talk about stuff like that. It's kind of just a thing where you psychologically think that everyone feels that way sometimes. So whenever I would have the kind of points where I would zone out completely and I would lose touch with the world completely, I just thought it was just regular zoning out like regular kids would have in schools. For having these problems, I would definitely, what I think is useful, get a few friends that you really trust and know your situation, know what's going on, and kind of have them try their best to like bring you back, and like however you like to have someone calm you down, if it's like physical contact or just talking to them or just leaving them alone completely. Just find someone that realizes what you're going through and that could help you through that. That's what's helped me the most, because if I had no one to talk to about it, it would be a lot worse than it is right now.